how to do the things right and let them know, without ever being cruel, when their behaviour is wrong. Often I meet people who tell me they haven't got time to train their puppy. They're too busy or too tired, or worse, the people think all puppies need is love and cuddles, and they'll somehow magically grow into well-behaved dogs. Sorry, but this isn't Disney. That ain't going to happen, and is actually being cruel. Puppies need guidance. I read about dog attack after dog attack in my local news, especially since the pandemic and lockdown of 2020. Too many people are getting puppies and then overlooking the fact that they are not toys, but animals who need to be guided and supported through the very tough first year of their lives in a human world. I say it again and again, having a puppy is hard work. Not because of the puppy, they can't help being a puppy, but because of how much of your time and effort is required to train them properly. You have to be strict and strong, patient and kind. You have to have boundaries and routines and stick to them, no matter how tired you are, what time of the night it is, or how much you just can't be asked. You have to do all of this to get a good-natured, well-behaved dog you are picturing in your imagination. So when you go online on a rainy Sunday and start searching for that perfect dog, just bear in mind, if you don't do all of these things, this will no longer be an achievable reality. Hard lessons learned. You might think I've got some strong opinions about this stuff, and you'd be right. I have zero tolerance for anyone who isn't prepared to put in the time their dog deserves, especially when they are so young. If dog training inconveniences you, don't get a dog. And don't listen to this book. There's quite a few other things I don't want to hear from people with dogs, like it's okay they're friendly. But more on this later. My opinions come from experience, the result of which was very sad. I have been that dog owner who didn't do the research to understand what I was taking on, and it's a story that didn't end well. When I first decided to get a dog, I did what most people do when they want to buy anything these days. I went online. An hour or so later, I was off to pick up my new puppy, Jess, a little Staffordshire Bull Terrier. Happy days, right? How fucking wrong was I? I remember noticing at the time that this guy's house was a bit of a shit heap, and when I asked him where the mum was, he said she was in the other room because she could be a bit aggressive. Jess and her litter mates were all locked up together in a cage, and the whole thing was a bit of a dirty mess if I'm honest. Still, I was so set on getting her that I chose to ignore all of that. I just wanted to get her and get out of there, which I did. The guy didn't ask me where I lived, what kind of life she would have with me, or anything about who I was. He just took the cash and off we went. Happy days, right? I now know the red flags were there. This guy was a backyard breeder who was only in it for the money. The welfare of his animals wasn't on his list of concerns. He didn't know or understand the art and science of dog breeding. He just wanted to make a quick buck. It was a recipe for tragedy. One day, sure enough, Jess collapsed in a park. She died on the way to the vet shortly afterwards. She was sadly just 16 weeks old. With the benefit of hindsight and over 10 years' experience training dogs from all walks of life, I can clearly see where I went wrong. We'll come on to this and the best, most responsible way to find a puppy in Chapter 1. I was devastated by losing her and vowed from then on to make sure I was better prepared and knew exactly what I was getting into. I did my research, read a pile of books on dog training and soaked up pretty much everything I could about puppies and how to get it right. I was still so terrified to take on another puppy though, so I decided to look into giving a home to an adult dog who needed one. We found Sammy, who's on the cover of this book, who was 16 months old and was given up by her owners because she kept having fights with the other dog in the house. The alarm bells were ringing loud and clear, ladies and gentlemen. When I went to get her, it was quickly apparent that she was being denied some of her basic needs. As a dog with loads of energy, she needed, still does, a lot of exercise. She was bouncing off the walls. When we left, she literally dragged me out of the house and didn't look back. I knew it was important that I spent time with her exercising before I took her anywhere near my house, so we went straight from there and walked for over 2 hours. I wanted to get all that surplus energy out of her system and use the time together to establish what this relationship was going to be about. That walk has stayed with me ever since. It was kind of magical. It was pissing it down with rain, but we were out for ages, just getting to know each other. I didn't want to go home with her until I felt sure she understood.